All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome to FFT. This is episode number 1. My name's Trevor, and I'm excited to get this channel rolling. So let's get into it. All right, so today we're going to go through 3 things. Who am I? Goals for this channel? And also, why should you even care about fantasy football? All right, let's start with the first one. Who am I? All right, well, I'm just a dude. All right, I live in Colorado. I'm 32 years old. I'm married. I've got a 1-year-old daughter. She just turned 1. And I'm a nerd. All right, I love fantasy football. I love D&D. I love World of Warcraft. I'm actually part of another podcast with a buddy of mine that we do weekly for a board game that we're starting up. So this is not new to me. This is something that I enjoy doing. I figured I'd start a fantasy football podcast on my own. All right, but you know what? I'm nothing special. Okay, I'm just a regular guy. I've got a full-time job. I'm just like all of you. All right. But I've been doing this now. I've been playing fantasy football for about 6 years. I've been a part of 6 different leagues. Love it all. That's the passion I have. That's part of why I'm spending my extra time building this out, making a podcast and a YouTube channel, and making some content for you guys. All right. So over the past 6 years, I've been a part of 4 redraft leagues and 2 dynasty leagues. For you, those of you who don't know what that means, a redraft league is essentially every year you redraft all of your players. So you don't keep any of your players from year to year. Whereas dynasty, you pick your team and you're stuck with it forever, amen. All right. Obviously, you can trade, you pick up new rookies, but that's the only way to get new players onto your roster. So out of those 4 redraft leagues, that's comprised of mostly family and friend leagues and what my wife likes to call my more serious league. She's only partially wrong. That is probably the one I pay attention to the most. It's with a bunch of my college buddies. It's a 10-man league, half PPR, redraft, and we actually do have one keeper every year. So if you decide to keep somebody from your roster, every year you decide to keep them, at least the way we do it, is if you drafted them, let's say in round 9, you have to keep them in round 8. And every year it continues to go up until you decide you no longer want to keep the player, or you want to keep somebody else that you drafted that year. So it gives you the opportunity to benefit from a good pick the past year. If you're picking up a rookie in a later round, it's a good opportunity to do that. The other 2 leagues I'm in, one of them I'm starting up as a commissioner this year, a dynasty league that I'm starting up with a bunch of friends and family, actually, that are nationwide. A good way to stay in touch with those guys. And another dynasty league I've been in for a few years now that I'm really enjoying. It's a 1 QB with a super flex, so really it's a 2 QB league. Again, it's half PPR. We actually do it. It's only an 8-man league, so we have 3 running backs and 4 wide receivers in that league. And we'll talk about pros and cons as we kind of get into later episode. We'll talk about a bunch of things, but yeah, let's go ahead and jump into goals for this podcast. What are the goals? Well, I want to do something I love. Like I said, I've got limited spare time as a husband and father. I want to be able to do this something in the morning before I jump into my normal work day. I figured I'd make like a 10-minute episode, maybe 2 or 3 times a week. That's it. I'm not looking at doing a half-hour thing. I'm not looking at doing a full-hour thing. You got to do research on the front end. You got to do the actual episode, and then you got to do editing on the back end. So that's something that I'm looking to do. And obviously more content will be coming out as I kind of get more used to doing these things myself. I've never actually edited videos myself, so this is something that's new to me, but I'll figure it out as we go. But why fantasy football? Why should you guys care about fantasy football? Why is this a podcast or a YouTube channel that you should be paying attention to and subscribing to? Well, let me just hit a few quick points for you guys. Do you enjoy college football? If so, this might be for you. You go, wait, hold on, isn't fantasy all about NFL? Well, yeah, but at the same time, if you enjoy college football, you're drafting rookies every year. You might even be better off knowing who the prime rookies are to draft. You know, I actually started off as a college football fan. I didn't care anything about the NFL. And jumping into fantasy football was really kind of my first awakening and opportunity to see, hey, you know what, NFL isn't that bad. Obviously, I'm a Nebraska Cornhusker fan. You can see the stuff behind me. My wife's an Auburn Tiger fan, so I married into that one. I get to dip my toe into the SEC a little bit, but it's a lot of fun. All right, I get to check out the SEC, and I get to also watch my Big Ten. Um, like I said, I'm based in Colorado. We got a big Nebraska-Colorado rivalry coming up this fall. Excited about that. But let me tell you guys a quick story. All right, so this is why you should be invested in NFL fantasy football. When my first introduction into fantasy was a league that my brother was in. They needed to fill a roster spot or fill a member slot, and so he asked me if I wanted to do it. I told him I didn't really know anything about what I was doing, but I said, okay, let's give it a shot. He invited me into the league. I didn't think it was that important. I didn't think drafting was that important. I didn't really do any research. I had no idea what the strategy was behind drafting. So I went into this thing completely blind. All right, I had no idea what was going on. I was actually at a restaurant when the draft started. I figured, okay, I could probably just do this from my phone. I was just asking my brother and my uncle, like who should I be drafting? I was trying to get their advice, but I wasn't really. I kind of had my own sort of biases for what I wanted. So I get to the first round comes to me. I'm the 104 or something like that. I take the Broncos defense at the 104 slot. Again, no idea what I was doing. I figured out quickly that that was a bad strategy based on the fact that 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 rounds went by before anybody else even considered taking a defense. So taking the Broncos in the first round probably wasn't the best choice. And then I followed that up with a tight end, I can't remember who it was, and a quarterback in the 3rd round. So my team was kind of in shambles. I didn't do very well that year, needless to say, but I enjoyed it, and I started researching and figuring out the best strategies for how to do it. So even if you're a college football guy, maybe check it out. I've been really enjoying it, obviously enough to be making a podcast about it. Why else? You get to interact with friends and family. I've got a family league. Again, not all of them really know what's going on when it comes to fantasy football, but we really enjoy getting together to draft. We have a pizza party or whatever we're doing, and then we get to kind of have that sort of banter back and forth as we're picking our roster slots, and it gives us an opportunity to really engage with our family, at that time when we draft, but also throughout the season as well. We all really enjoy football, so why not, right? Every year with the more serious league, as my wife likes to call it, we actually get together. Got guys that live in California, all across the country, and we all come together here in Colorado, and we have like some competitions, tournament style, where we all have points throughout the weekend, and based on whoever's scoring at the top, whoever's has the number 1 slot at the top at the end of the week, they get the first pick of a draft position at the end of the weekend. So they get to decide, hey, I want the 101 or I want the 109 or anything in between. And then if you're the last place, you obviously just fall into whatever slot is left at the end of the time. So we're all really trying to not be that last pick and have some sort of say into where we land. But it's a really great time. We really enjoy it. But like I said, we're like in our 30s, and so every year the competition seems to get a little bit more fierce, even though our athleticism seems to decline just a little bit. Drafting each year brings us back together. We love it. Another thing, like I said, we're all competitive, so we love the trash talk, we love the banter, we love all the drama and discussions of trades and figuring that out. We're all, neck deep into trying to figure out right now where Dalvin Cook's going to go, where DeAndre Hopkins is going to go. We love that stuff, and being able to talk about, potentials is something that we enjoy doing. If you're somebody that likes to bet, I'm not really a betting guy, but I'm not really into DraftKings and all those sports books and things like that. But if you love putting money down or betting with some friends, this is a great way to do it. It's a lot of fun because it's a season-long thing that you get to participate in. Also, it's just fun, man. I'll tell you what, I love doing research and figuring out who the best teams are going to be, who the best running backs, wide receivers, quarterbacks are going to be, the up-and-comers, the rookies, the second-year wide receivers. We all know that they have great potential. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy doing mock drafts as well. Before the season starts, I really enjoy investing time into what I think other teams are going to be doing, testing out different scenarios. But yeah, there's a lot of reasons to be invested in fantasy football. And so I hope you guys kind of join me on this journey. Like I said, I'll be putting out content throughout the week, and we'll keep it updated. We'll be diving into topics. Like I said, it's going to be 10-minute topics where we, dive into running backs, dive into wide receivers, dive into different divisions and conferences, dive into team settings and roster settings for your different leagues, whether it's Dynasty or Redraft. We'll be really taking deep dives, and you guys can look at these episodes and, check them out on your way to work or check them out, during your lunch breaks. But it'll be something that I think we can really invest in together and take a deeper look and a deeper dive. So I hope you enjoyed this first episode, getting to know me. I hope to get to know you guys a little bit more as well. But check us out, Fantasy Football Tips. We'll see you next time. Peace.